So, hello and welcome back to Just Another Cricket Podcast, a show that we are trying to keep too much around the T20 World Cup that's going around. And why not? Even after so many grueling matches, we are finally down to the most important three T20 matches, which are the semi-finals and the finals. So, we'll be, kind of touching upon the first match, and we may meander. You've seen us meandering from, whatever topic of discussion that we get. And of course, that happens. When you start talking about cricket, you do meander. That's the nature of the game. But we'll try and keep this discussion to the first match of the semi-finals tomorrow, which is between inevitably one of the teams that we thought would be coming up, which is New Zealand, which is Pakistan, of course, and a bit of a shock, like what Shantan has been calling them as, somebody who we do not give so much of an importance just because they're not filled with, superstars, but they're always there in the top four, which is New Zealand. So, straight questions, Shantan. How would you rate, New Zealand's, the trip or the journey towards the semi-final? Do you think they'll be easy victors tomorrow, or they still have something to prove? Do you think they are deserved semi-finals from group number one? Number one question to you.
Yeah, I think absolutely. If you see the way they played the first match, the margin of defeat or the margin of victory for them against Australia, no doubt they are definitely one of the teams after that match coming as the top contenders because they beat Australia in Australia, who are the defending champions and the host, right? And then it was always going to be a fight between Australia and England. Unfortunately, that match that got washed out again helped New Zealand, right? So no doubt that they are definitely a deserving team. And looking at their record in ICC events for the past few years, there is no way we can deny that they're definitely a team where you do not have, those bright stars or the ones like the skies and all who can single-handedly win you matches. But they have always in the history of cricket played as one team. Everyone contributes, and that is probably the secret, especially so in this shorter format of the game, right? So for sure they are destined to be here, and it's not a surprise, to be honest with you. How they'll play tomorrow, so New Zealand is more like chokers against Pakistan in ICC events, right? If I'm not wrong, 60-20 matches in World Cup, four times Pakistan won, and they're actually playing a team that came out of nowhere, so they will be filled with a lot of confidence. Pakistan will speak about this in future as well, but trust me, New Zealand will be no mug with as an opponent as well. They will fight, and they are a good batting up team, and they are a good bowling unit as well, and they'll field like like tigers. So that will be an exciting match to see.
Absolutely. So, Gopal, question to you. I mean, we've seen all the matches. I don't think so. We have a clear winner as of now. I mean, from Group One, of course, England and New Zealand both won three matches. Even Australia won three matches because both of these higher on net run rates are going through, and that too only because one of that major victories that New Zealand had over Australia. So, but if you tout them, I mean, they are not clear winners that you're sure for them to actually win through the semi-finals and go to the finals and win that. Similarly for our group as well, wherein we have India and Pakistan going through. So your thoughts on Pakistan? I mean, number one, pretty lucky, thanks to, of course, Netherlands, who made this possible for them to come back. Then again,
And thanks to Temba Babuma.
Thanks to Temba Babuma, yes, of course, our small little cute little friend. But they also.
But he's the big elephant in that room. Sorry.
Yeah. So we'll possibly. We will come to that as well.
You're right. You're right, Devankur. Probably Pakistan actually would have not got into the top two if probably South Africa would have won that match, and they would have come in. And South Africa, New Zealand would have been even more challenging match for New Zealand actually. See, actually, if you look at the competition tomorrow, I was just thinking through. New Zealand would have actually preferred to play India in a semi-final match because they knew that they would have beaten us. And Pakistan would have preferred New Zealand. I mean, if one team that Pakistan would have wanted in a semi-final match, they would have preferred New Zealand, as Shantan rightly pointed out. So,
and with their current form as well, defeating them twice in New Zealand itself.
Correct.
Pakistan has done that very recently.
But then one bit into the competition that we need to look into it, Debankur, is that in the first match, Finn Allen played. I mean, they got a good start, and then there was some consolidation by Williamson, and then you had your Philip and chipping in and taking them to 200. In the match against Sri Lanka, they were totally down and out, and I think that they should have lost that match. But again, Glenn Philip came in, scored at 160, and then they won that match comfortably. Bolt is taking up wickets up front in the new ball. In every match he's been picking up wickets. Their spinners are bowling really well. So I mean, they are not a very very popular players who are going after the records, but I feel they are the team from where everybody is chipping in. So that is that probably and knowing Babar tomorrow, if Trent Bolt swings that ball from the lefty and picks up Barber and Rizwan on the first, say, 4 or 5 overs, then Pakistan are straight on the back foot. Of course, I mean, Mohammad Haris is a very good find. I mean, I thought that was a very good addition to the Pakistan team. Given the top order was not functioning and they was not accelerating properly, Mohammad Haris actually has brought that additional bit of aggressiveness in their batting lineup. Seeing him down the line order, if you look at it, they're also playing some aggressive shots. And so that is tomorrow for me is Trent Bolt's spell. I mean, if he can swing that ball and pick some 2-3 wickets early out, I think Pakistan will straight away go into the back foot.
I think your inference could be a little wrong. I would think if Trent Bolt and Saudi picks up early wickets, which they'll do tomorrow, it is actually playing right up Pakistan's alley. Because question to you, Shantan, we started saying that Pakistan's middle order is not performing, but it is only the basis of Pakistan's middle order and somewhat on their bowling strength that Pakistan has actually reached the semi-finals, right? So they would want, in some bits, I still think, maybe you could correct me if I'm wrong, that Babar Azam still is not of that caliber wherein he can go out, start hitting and get into form. He'll still take some time, which is actually not a good thing for Pakistan, because then Pakistan will score very slowly, and that would actually put much more pressure on their middle order, which has been performing well till now. So I would still think getting them early would be to Pakistan's advantage. Or would you like to see Pakistan experiment a little and break their top order partnership, which I don't think so they'll do for semi-finals. So what are your thoughts on Pakistan's approach for tomorrow?
Yeah, I think quite a few questions you've asked, and I think all valid questions. The first question, let me pick the last question to be the first. Okay, I think at least in the Pak media and their former cricketers and all, a lot of them are actually asking Babar to come one down and not to open, which I also don't think they're going to make changes in the middle of the tournament,
and
especially
major match.
a match like semis, because if that fails, there is a lot of noise that will otherwise come from that same media, right? Secondly, see, the problem with Babar is that even if he gets into some form and runs and all, and when he takes time, he's not like someone like KL Rahul, even who's slow at the start. He can actually hit big sixes. Babar and Rizwan both cannot do it unless and until there is a lot of pace on the ball. They cannot hit a lot of sixes in front of the wicket where there is, with big grounds. And even if Rizwan does have those flakes and those scoops, Babar doesn't play a lot of those shots, right? So trust me, he is going to be under immense pressure. I feel so that it's a semi, and he still need to score about 11 or 13 runs to hit 50 runs overall in this tournament, right? And I feel Rizwan has been found out by the rest of the teams. He has been, if you see his last set of dismissals, he's all trying to force the ball on the offside and getting inside edges and getting bowled, right? So probably the bigger teams have found it out, and we know New Zealand is an extremely technical team. They do their homework well, and I'm sure, is going to come with a lot of homework for tomorrow as well. To your question, yes, the middle order right now will give a lot of comfort to Pakistan, because they know that against New Zealand, they don't need to score 180, 190, even a 160, and with their quality of bowling, they can defend it. But with this comes, the toss is going to be extremely important, because at Sydney, I think the last 6 matches, 5 teams have won the toss, batted first, and they won. I think the only exception is that England Sri Lanka match that England chased and won, and both the teams are unbeaten. So New Zealand has defeated Australia, and I think Sri Lanka is where whom they have defeated, and then South Africa is defeated by Pakistan. So toss is going to be extremely important. Both the teams would want to bat first and put some total Because even if you're chasing 160 in a big game like this, you're always under pressure if you have a good
Plus,
bowling unit. Both the teams have good bowling units.
plus Shanton, Pakistan to I mean, of course they chase that 150 target in their tri-series final, but they are not good chasers. They fumble chases, and in a big match like this, if New Zealand, even if they give them a target of say 160 or 150 and then pick up two important key wickets, Pakistan will stumble. So I mean, as you rightly
The
said,
approach is wrong, Gopal. And I was saying, I don't know if you saw, there is a video that got leaked, and I always feel they are
yeah,
never
yeah,
leaked; those are purposely sent out.
correct.
Where I see, Babar Azam is actually saying Mohammad Haris to take the game deep when you have 8 runs required out of 16 balls. You never take a game deep when you are in control. You take a game deep when you are not in control, like the
Control.
match against India and Pakistan, right? India was not in control, they took it deep. When you need only 8 runs out of 16 balls, try and hit it out. If you get out, so be it. But why to take it deep? So their approach,
I
I
think
feel,
I
is
think
wrong, because of
I
which
think what he
the opponents come back to the match within the
right.
match.
But I think what he said was कि match जीता के आओ. Rather than take it deep, he said match जीता के आओ. You will understand
Yeah,
with a
no,
better
no,
feeling.
and
Is what he said.
I heard that part of it. Match जीता के आओ, and उसने ये बोला that you take your time. You had 16 balls, 8 ball बाकी
Hmm.
था. Take it deep. Use that word. Take it deep. But
अच्छा.
when you're in
Maybe missed
command,
it.
like in this Bangladesh match, right? Why
Hmm.
will you take when you're chasing only 130 runs, why will you not
Right,
try
right.
and strike it at a 7 and 8? The moment you are
Absolutely.
striking at a 4 runs and over, you are allowing the other team to get into the match, which
Into the
they're
game.
nowhere, right? So
Absolutely.
that approach, I feel, is
Absolutely.
going to be extremely important. But if they score 160 runs, it is going to be tough for New Zealand, I can tell you that.
Okay. So, question is probably last couple of questions before we try and wrap this up. Short little quick discussion on the first semi-final. So, well, I think we can tout this semi-final number one to be the match between, I would say, one of the best bowling sides in the tournament, which is Pakistan, and one of the best spinners that we've seen in the tournament, which is Santner and Ish Sodhi.
So
So, do you think it will be mostly like the bowlers will be doing the trick for either of the teams? Because I don't see any of the batsmen picking it up from both the sides, apart from that one blinder from Glenn Phillips and Devon Conway in the first match where he scored some 90 runs. So what are your thoughts on that? Will it be bowlers who are going to dictate terms tomorrow, or will it be
It will
a
be.
fast
It
scoring
will
Sydney
be.
match, Sydney match
No,
tomorrow?
it will be a bowler's paradise. I believe there's some rain forecast as well. If I'm not wrong, there are some talks about some rain that
Maybe
can
about that.
actually ruin both the semifinals. In fact, not only the semifinals, even the finals. But if it is going to be a rain affected match, or if it is going to, I mean, if the conditions are going to be post rain and the match starts, it is going to be a bowler's game, and that is where I really feel, I think Kane Williamson's game tomorrow would be very crucial. I think he's a sort of player who will probably not score at a brisk pace of say 170, 180. He can score at 100, 120, and then probably accelerate at the end of the innings. So I think his wicket tomorrow would be really crucial, and he plays spin, I mean, really well. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to Kane Williamson tomorrow. But as to your point, I think it will be a battle of two bowling sets. I mean, New Zealand also, if you look at it, you had Trent Bolt and Saudi, followed by the two spinners. And Jimmy Neesham is which bowling is the fifth
Lockie
option.
Ferguson. Lockie
Lucky
Ferguson's also
Ferguson.
there.
Lucky Ferguson is also there. So it is a battle of two good bowling sides. So I mean, we'll have to see how they defend the total. I mean, either the team is going to bat first, whoever wins the toss. We'll have to see how they defend the score, and that will be a key thing tomorrow in tomorrow's match.
Right. So Shantan, maybe last question before we end this discussion today is, both the captains are due for runs. I mean, both the captains are woefully out of form. Babar Azam, it's being seen. Came Williams for a long time also, but maybe that last 60 or 70 that he scored. But he is also in need of a lot of runs so as to keep his place intact. New Zealand, unlike India and Pakistan, do not put that much pressure. I mean, the cricket is not that important for them. But for us, our captains are our superstars. And Babar Azam not performing. Where do you think, what would be, the approach for tomorrow? Will, New Zealand go big bang again? I mean, that's how they are trying to play with Finn Allen and Devon Conway up top? Or will they be conservative? Like if you're saying that 150, 160 batting first should be enough, should they be looking at that? Or maybe you think, they'll try and, go all bang against this touted Pakistani line?
I think they'll not change a lot. Okay, so I think the roles are pretty much cut out for each one of them. So Devon Convoy is someone who would like to take time early on, and he would like to play through the innings throughout the 20 overs. And he actually is the other guy who doesn't hit big sixes, but hits a lot of boundaries, and he runs brilliantly between the wickets, which means he covers up. Finn Allen will obviously try and hit, and he'll target. I can tell you, he is going to target their best bowlers. He's going to target Shaheen, just like the way he targeted Stark in the first
Stark.
match, right? And the other thing that I feel is if Devon Conway gets out, then probably it's Williamson's responsibility to stay throughout the rest of the innings
Correct.
against someone who actually converts his, and then it speeds up on his strike rate. Okay, so overall, I feel that they'll start with some conservative approach of 150, 160, assess that after 10 overs and see where they are, and then recalculate. And that's something that we have seen as a theme for most of the teams, that they reassess after the drinks break. If at some point they feel that after 15 overs they're about 115, 120 runs, of course they'll go for a 180, 190 runs. On the other hand, for Pakistan, again, I think, as I said, Babar is going to be under a lot of pressure, but he would try and reduce the count of dot balls. If he can, put in some singles as well. And I think that's what, the likes of Matthew Heddens and Mohammad Yusuf, I want to tell him as well, that reduce the count of dot balls, start, rotating the strike, because otherwise what happens is every time you miss the ball, you try to hit the next ball even harder and you keep missing. And he's probably in that phase. He's a fantastic batsman, right? But he's under a lot of pressure. But you never know. He's due for big runs. Even Rizwan is due for big runs. And every time you expect a certain thing from Pakistan, they come up with the unexpected. So they will probably dish out, the biggest surprise tomorrow. Overall, if you ask me, I feel that if I need to put my money on, I will put it on Pakistan. That's one reason, because I feel that they are a little stronger, and with the way they came back into the tournament. And the second reason, obviously, I want to enjoy my Sunday with some fried fish and beer, seeing an India-Pakistan final.
Great, great. So, Gopal, before we end up with our predictions and maybe the last buys for this podcast, do you think there'll be any changes on in both the sides 11s, or do you think the
No.
same teams play?
No, I don't.
So Mohammad Harris will still play and play one down.
Of course. I mean, he's been playing really well at one down, I think. And even in the last match, there was some scare in the middle when Bangladesh had probably in the middle overs, and then I think he carried on brilliantly. So I don't see any reason for any changes in the lineup. But
For both the teams.
for both the teams, yes, from both the teams. Unless and until there's an injury scare, I don't see an injury scare
Don't see
anywhere. But I mean, as Shantan said, probably the heart would still say, because Pakistan and India has a better record against Pakistan in the World Cup matches
World Cups,
for
yes.
the last few years. So better bet on Pakistan, but I still feel probably New Zealand might get into the finals. I still have that feeling that maybe tomorrow I see a different New Zealand playing that, especially when they have beaten the Aussies. I think this is if I would have been a New Zealand coach, I would say that this is the best opportunity for them to win a World Cup, given that they don't have Australians.
Right. So before we end, couple of predictions for tomorrow, guys. I mean, if you want to predict the toss, if you want to predict who's the winner, if you want to predict how much runs will be scored, it's all yours. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead, Gopal.
But my prediction is actually straightforward. Probably New Zealand wins the toss, bats first, scores something around 160, and Pakistan maybe around 140, and then
New Zealand wins and goes to the finals. Is what you're saying. Great. And Shantar, what are your thoughts?
I will agree to 3 of the 4 predictions that he made. I also feel that New Zealand will win the toss. They are going to bat first. They will score around 160 to 165 runs. And Pakistan will really play well. It will be a close finish, and they'll win the match. And they'll go into the final. So I see a Pakistan team going to the finals.
So
What about
my
you,
predictions for
Devankur?
tomorrow, my predictions for tomorrow is Pakistan will also win. Is my prediction for tomorrow. But how it is New Zealand has seen Pakistan chasing down against them a lot. So I think New Zealand would try and chase down tomorrow if they win the toss. That's what my thought process is. Maybe as you
So
said that
you're
Sydney,
saying New Zealand is going to win the toss
And then put Pakistan
yeah,
in.
yes,
and
and
put
then put
Pakistan
Pakistan in
in.
possibly.
Within
But then again,
within how much they will bowl Pakistan?
Pakistan would definitely score around 160, 165, and then New Zealand will not score that many, and they'll be down
So
before
Gopal,
150,
he is pretty
140.
much agreeing to us. Me and you are not agreed on the end result. Me and Devankur are, and he is not agreeing with us on the toss decision
Toss
by
pick.
Nick.
Prospect, yes, yeah.
Okay, so two
Going by the
Pakistan and
latest,
one
sir.
New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Right. So, and we would also definitely want India to win against England. We've been talking about India-Pakistan finals. For that, India has to beat England. So that discussion is for another day. So for now, we are very much excited for the first semi-final being played tomorrow, which is New Zealand between Pakistan. Both teams who've been seeing each other for a long time right now have played against each other very much. So they know about their strengths and weaknesses. So only Shaheen Shah Afridi will be a little different for them, but the same New Zealand team is going to come up. So here's wishing both the teams all the best and may the best team win. And we get to see the entire 40 overs matches. And as Gopal was saying, I just hope that the rain doesn't interrupt because there's been a lot of rain interruptions in this World Cup. So saying the same, I guess we'll end this just another cricket podcast session here. And thank you so much for tuning in. I hope whatever we discussed you did like it. If you've liked it, give us a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel if you think that we are bringing you good enough presentations. So thank you so much, guys, and a very good night.
Bye bye.
Good night. Bye.